My name's Jim Young. I'm the Director of Code Compliance for the City of Key West. The last one.
That's fine. That's fine.
How y'all doing? I didn't know whether to do my normal ambassador presentation, if some of you went through that, or just introduce myself, tell you a little bit about my staff, and then take some questions of things that you all as realtors might be interested in. I have a staff of 6.5 code officers.
6.5?
Yes, 6.5. I share one employee with the building department, and he is also the floodplain manager for the City of Key West, but he investigates all the FEMA complaints and issues code notices whenever we encounter a violation of the FEMA. I believe Ron Wappler was here earlier and talked about FEMA a little bit. So we share that one employee. We work 7 days a week from 7:30 a.m. to midnight. What? She's laughing because it's just hard to get a hold of us. If you need to get a code officer and it's after 5 p.m., you have to call the police non-emergency number, and they'll dispatch to the code officers that are working the night shift. And the same on weekends. Or if you want, you can just leave your complaint on the voice message, and on Monday we'll have it assigned. Every complaint that's called in is assigned to a code officer, whether you leave your name information or it's anonymous. And they're responsible for maintaining the investigation all the way to the end. We strive to be compliant voluntarily. However, there are times when we have to go before our special magistrate for a hearing. And even when it reaches that level, he also will give you time to come into compliance. So a lot of people think, oh, code came out and they gave me a fine. That's not the way the process works. We can't issue fines as code officers. Only the special magistrate does that, and it's a rare occasion, but sometimes it does happen. Okay, how do I go forward? Where's my techie? Okay. We're supposed to have all these pretty complicated mission statements. I try to keep it simple since I'm a simple person for my code officers. And this is our philosophy. We do have a job that gives us some authority, but it's how we treat people that actually earns their respect and wants to work with us to come into compliance. I believe that everybody should be treated fairly, and it should be a level playing field, and it should be as transparent as possible. That belief got me in trouble a few years ago. But now I'm back. Here's some of the complaints we investigate. ADA, Americans with Disability Act. Last year, my department took over the ADA coordinator's position. So she's a code officer / ADA coordinator. The FEMA, Scott, my half of employee. We building, licensing, HARC. We get a lot of complaints, people doing work in the old town without a HARC certificate of appropriateness. Noise, overgrown lots, that has been a big problem, especially with the economy taking a tank several years ago. People just walking away in their foreclosures and trying to work with banks. I have this one case. I've been trying to get this bank to clean up a property. I send them a notice, they send me a letter. We don't own it. Well, according to Dee Henriquez, And Scott Russell, you do own it, so you're responsible for it. And it's gotten to the point now where they're going to go before the special magistrate in April and explain how they don't own it. Put together a few little pictures. A lot of people don't know you can't post notices on signs or trees or poles in the city. And we get a lot where people will lose their cat or dog. This one, someone lost Sushi, the drag queen. So I was lucky to find her. She was standing on the corner of Petronia and Duval. This is a good one. We get a lot of sign complaints. This, yeah. I actually bought my bike at Island Bicycle, so he wasn't too happy. But this is what I call a Key West informational sign. This is what I call a Key West portable information sign. Gotta love these guys. Down there at Mallory Square, he's a little bit away from the panhandling area, so. Like I said, one of the big problems we've been dealing with in recent years are overgrown lots. We do have an ordinance that actually makes it the responsibility during certain times of the year that the lots have to be cut clean from debris and overgrowth. Oh, this is one of my favorite. Have you all heard of Airbnb? Yes. Okay. I could just talk an hour about them. This guy took it to the next level of advertising his van for rent for the night, $75. It doesn't have a shower or a kitchen, but you can use the public shower at the pool on Catherine and Catherine Street there. Transient rentals are a big concern of my department and of the city. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. Street performers, you gotta love them. This was a Spider-Man, one of two. The other one plays the sitar. This one was a little bit more athletic and energetic. And I told him, you can't be up on those poles like that. And he wanted to come in and sign a waiver that when he falls and breaks his neck, he won't sue the city. I told him, we're not concerned about you. I'm concerned about that tourist you fall on. You have to have a keen eye to spot a violation in code. Yeah. This actually, uh-oh, he might be here. He's my buddy, though. Because I got to give him credit. He went through the ambassadors, and I used to show this all the time, and I get a chuckle. And after the ambassador, he came up to me and goes, that was my cow. And that property used to be a dairy. So hence, creative thinking. Yeah, they couldn't explain to us, how did we find out they were renovating their house without permits? One of my all-time favorites, we get a lot of chicken complaints. And like I said, voluntary compliance, I know, it's so sad. I mean, she's a very nice lady. I've known her for 11 years. And she actually was going to go to court and tell the special magistrate that she wasn't feeding chickens. Well, that arrow points to a chicken on top of stacks of chicken feed. I told her she might want to just work with us and not go before the judge. So anyway, those are some pictures of what we do daily in code, and that's why you can't always get us on the phone.
Priorities.
Right, chasing chickens and cows. Transient rentals. This would be something I guess you all are interested in. We have ordinance, and it's very strict. I believe it's stricter than the county. you cannot rent a property for 30 days or 1 calendar month, less than those time. And the reason we have 1 calendar month is because of the month of February. So you need to have a transient rental medallion. They are probably going on the open market for about $45,000. They're very hard to get because of the fact that the city over the years have tried to phase them out because of what was happening into the single family neighborhoods. Because what we found out, that's how I came to Key West. I retired from the Broward Sheriff's Office, became friends with the city attorney, and he hired me to do strictly transient rental investigations in 2003. 3 minutes. Okay. So anyway, you need a transient rental license. No, you cannot tell your clients or the property owners cannot rent it for 10 days in January and not rent it again until February. That's called a sham contract. It's spelled out in the ordinance. So that's a lot of misconception and questions we get from people in the real estate business. So I only got 1 minute left, I guess. Any questions? Yes?
Could you explain clearly about the not, it's an ordinance, I understand, but at least that's what some of your departments told me about. You're not allowed to keep the chickens unless they're in a cage somewhere?
Correct.
There's so much controversy in the neighborhood between, I love the chickens and I hate the chickens. If you can make that very clear, I think it would really help a lot of neighborhoods in the region.
Right. The ordinance says you can't feed chickens unless they're in a coop or a cage, and the food has to be in an airtight container, and you have to maintain keeping the cage or coop clean. So, and I know we have a lot of people that move here, they love the chickens, and they just like to go around the neighborhoods and feed them, but it's against the ordinance. And we have brought some cases before the special magistrate. Most of them, it didn't reach that level, they stopped.
But how, is there a way though maybe you can get the word out to people so they understand what the, you know, what, I don't think most people are out there thinking it's some sort of violation of anything to feed chickens.
Right, that's why I'm here. You all do that.
No.
No.
No, I didn't.
We do periodic public service announcements. Yes?
How hard is the job with the new site, the rental site that you mentioned before?
Oh.
How hard it is to make these people, to send them the message? And I think that is a very popular and potentially increased. And not only for safety, but also for revenue and for everything that they break in the law. And how hard is your job trying to find these people that they're renting?
Airbnb makes my job very easy. I have a full-time code officer, plus myself, and we surf the internet. And Airbnb is one of the easiest ones because the people put their first name and their picture on their ads. And they'll put Grinnell Street. So it's a matter of just finding them. And what we do is, normally the people have no idea they're violating it because they're falling under the Airbnb theory. Oh, we are a bed and breakfast sharing website. What we have done recently is I issued 6 citations to Airbnb Incorporated out in California, and have spoken to 3 of their attorneys. They all tried to say the same thing. You can't cite us because we're not responsible. And I said, you execute a contract with the property owner, you take a portion of the proceed, you provide them with the IRS documents for the tax documentation, and you advertise it on your internet, but you're not responsible. So they're going to come in April and explain that to our special magistrate.
Great.
Yes, Rick?
I love the count, but I'm not really clear on what the issue was there. Was it because it was on the right of way and not on private property?
Yeah, it was on the right of way.
But it's good behind the fence, it would be.
Yeah, that would be on private property.
Great. Thank you very much, Jim.
All right, well, thank you.